For all of those who've recently lost your jobs and are wondering what to do with your future and with your savings, now there are a number of things that you can do that can help you consolidate and hopefully secure your future, but you'll have to be careful and choose your options wisely. The first option obviously is that you go look for another job. You work on your CV, you start tapping into your network, LinkedIn and otherwise, and start making passive and active approaches to people on trying to find yourself a new job. So this is the first one. The second one obviously is that most likely your savings are already in a bank and you will calculate your earnings every year of what the bank is giving you at the end of the year, and you will see whether that amount is good enough for you to sustain yourself on a month-to-month basis. Number three, what you will do is you will use some of your savings and buy a property, a real estate property, and you would rent it out, and then you would hope to make rental returns as your expenses cover by that investment that you've done in the real estate. So that is something that you could do. You could buy real estate and put it on rent and try to make money out of it. The other thing you can do with real estate is you can actually buy it to resell it. So you will wait for its appreciation over 2 to 3 years. So you have enough savings so that you can sustain yourself for 3 to 4 years. So you'll buy this property just to sell it and make money out of the appreciation value that generates within that property. Number 5, what you can do is you can, if you educate yourself or if you know something about it already, you can invest in the stock market. If you're a Muslim, you would be investing on Islamically approved stocks that you can invest in, which are Sharia compliant, and you can try and see how you can make some earnings around stock market investments. Stock markets these days are actually very, very interesting and attractive proposition for people to make a good amount at the end of the month, at the end of the quarter, etc. Some of you will think about launching your own startup. Yes, it is a good idea. You should think about starting your own startup, but you should be careful about not being carried away with the fact that startups are a risky proposition. Startups mean that you will be driven by something that may work or may not work. So you have to be careful and cautious about what you're planning to do and how you're planning to do it, and who are you planning to do that startup with. So make sure that this one option of starting a startup is something that you consider with a very sense of heightened cautiousness and carefulness and risk averseness. Now, the other thing you can do, which is a good option, which is option number 7, is that you can invest in an existing startup, because that startup you can see everything that has happened, where they started the company, where it is the product ready, is the platform working, are there customers on it, are they making revenue. So you can look at some of the existing startups, Series A, Series B, and see whether you want to get on board and try to plan your exit by understanding what the startup is doing and where it plans to reach as a business and where it plans to reach as an exit. You can definitely do that. The last thing that you can do is you can actually get involved in an existing business that is running short of funding, but it is a good business, and you can participate with that business owner by offering your amount as a lending amount and agreeing with the owner on receiving the returns of every month's sales or every quarter sales as part of the profits coming back to you. This kind of lending generally leads to very good returns. You would get far better returns than what you would get by keeping the money in the bank. So there are a few options that you can consider if you've lost your job and you're worried about where your monthly income is going to come from. So I think the first option is you can look for another job. The second option is you can put money into your bank and wait for the end of the year returns. The third option is you can buy a property and put it out on rent and make money out of the rent. Fourth option is you can buy a property to retain it for 3 to 4 years and sell it after the market cap of that property has increased and make money out of that increase in valuation. The fifth option is you can engage yourself in the stock market and start engaging in buying and selling of stocks and hopefully make some money out of it. The sixth option is that you can start a new startup, but this is a risky option. I'd like you to be very careful about it. The seventh option is you invest in an existing startup so that you're more comfortable and more clear and more obvious about what's going on, and you become an investor and not somebody who doesn't have operational experience and is trying to do his own startup. So as an investor, you have a better chance in investing in an existing startup. And number 8 is you lend your money to an existing business which has cash flow history of 3, 5 or more years, and you can look at the cash flow trends to understand whether this business is delivering good margins, and you agree with the owner that you can share with this owner the profit shares at the end of every month or quarter, making you receive monthly or quarterly income as something that can sustain your expenses and your livelihood and your social lifestyle. I hope these suggestions help all of you. So if you are out of a job, don't panic, don't get too worried. I think there are a lot of things you can do. These are some of the suggestions. I hope they're helpful.